The movie begins as we see Sister Fernanda walking toward the church with a donkey. When she arrives, she meets Sister Geneva, who asks her where she has been last night. Fernanda tells her that she went after the donkey when it suddenly ran away from the church. Geneva asks her how that donkey runs away almost every day. As they are having a conversation, Lurko the gardener passes by and greets them. But the sisters don't seem happy with him greeting them and get angry with him. Mother Maria, the head sister, calls for Fernanda asking why she's outside the church this morning. Sister Fernanda tells her that she went after the donkey who runs away and promises that it will never happen again. Meanwhile, Sister Alessandra sits quietly on her bed, wishing to live her life outside since she's tired of living inside the church. The following morning, Elario, her father, visits her. He's telling her that he was not able to find a man for her because of the dowry that the man's family is asking from him. Alessandra tells him that maybe if she reduces her donation to the church, she might be able to save money for the dowry, but her father objects to it. The next day, we can see the three of them walking carrying knitted clothes. They once again pass by the gardener Lurko. He stares at them with his bad intentions. The sisters noticed it and Alessandra turned her frustrations to him. Meanwhile, Father Tommaso picks the knitted clothes from the sisters to sell them at the market. On the way, he meets the gardener who tells him that he will quit his job in the church because he no longer wants to get beaten and abused by the sisters. But Father Tommaso promises him that it will never happen again and requests him to stay. But being badly humiliated, he refuses and leaves. The next scene shows us Lord Bruno having dinner with Francesca, his wife. He's telling his wife about their financial status, but she's not paying him any attention. Instead, she's flirting with their servant, Macedo. At night, the two are having a conversation after spending some time on the bed. Francesca tells Macedo that his husband is a useless man and that he cannot do anything. Macedo then tells her that he'll make her happy by doing a second round. While they're at it, Bruno suddenly enters the room. But before he sees him with his wife, Macedo jumps out the window and runs away. Seeing where the man runs, Lord Bruno follows him and ends up in the servants' quarter where Macedo is pretending to sleep. He then checks all the servants by putting his hand on their chest. This way he'll know which one of them has been running outside. He checks Macedo and notices that his heartbeat is very high. But due to the darkness he was not able to recognize him. Instead, he cuts his ponytail, and this way he will recognize him in the morning. As Lord Bruno leaves, Macedo wakes up and already has a plan. He then cuts all his companions' ponytails. The morning comes, and when Lord Bruno searches for the deceitful servant he notices that all of them have their ponytails cut and that he's been fooled. After some time, Queen Francesca ambushes Macedo while working and tries to kiss him. Lord Bruno watches them from the roof and orders his soldiers to catch Macedo and bring the two to him. To save himself, Macedo runs away into the forest while soldiers are chasing him. In the forest, he met Father Tommaso, who is drunk. His cart has overturned and he's trying to save his clothes floating in the river. Macedo saw him struggling and decided to help. Impressed by his good deeds, Father Tommaso asks him to come with him and stay in the church. On the way, he advised Macedo to pretend to be deaf and dumb, so the sisters won't disturb him. The next morning, they finally arrived at the church. Father Tommaso brings him to the head sister's office and introduces him to Mother Maria. At first, she refuses to allow him to live in the church, but Tommaso explained that he's good with gardening and that he'll be replacing the gardener who left. She then gave him the job. The next day, while doing his work, Sister Fernanda rushes to him and asks him what is he doing there. She points an axe at him and starts asking questions since she doesn't know anything about Macedo. Luckily, Mother Maria saw this and informs them that Macedo will be their new gardener and he was deaf and dumb. On that same day, Fernanda visits Alessandra in her room to ask her to drink with them. She's with her friend Marta. After some time, Geneva knocks on her door and eventually joins them. The four sisters start talking about adult stuff. The next morning, while Macedo is digging the ground, Sister Alessandra approaches him and they start talking. Alessandra suddenly loses herself while talking to Macedo and starts kissing him. Macedo, on the other hand, takes advantage of the moment, putting her on the ground and start kissing her back. Their moment is cut when the church bell rings and Alessandra leaves. On the other side, Geneva and Fernanda are washing the clothes when Alessandra arrives. They talked about what happened last night and reveals that they had a good time. Fernanda notices Alessandra's shirt and asks her how it gets so dirty. Alessandra tells them that she helps the deaf gardener dig the ground. Geneva and Fernanda don't believe her because they have never seen her do church work before. One day, Sister Geneva sees Fernanda and her friend Marta go into the forest. She then secretly follows them and reaches the forest. They are making belladonna. It is believed that belladonna, when applied to your eyes, men will be attracted to you. Marta puts 2 drops of belladonna syrup on Fernanda's eyes. Sister Geneva, hiding in the bushes, sees it all. Then we see Fernanda and Marta going to Macedo's room. They intend to make love with the gardener. Macedo is confused about what's happening but takes advantage of it. The next morning, Bishop Bartholomew arrives for a visit. Father Tommaso and Mother Maria welcome him and take him to their church. Macedo sees an opportunity and climbs Alessandra's room by the window and starts getting intimate with her. Busy with what they're doing, an old nun comes in without them noticing. After a while, they're shocked to see the nun inside the room. Alessandra quickly picks up her clothes and starts helping the old nun while Macedo hides under the bed. Luckily, the old nun does not see what they've been doing all this time. As Macedo is about to leave, Bishop Bartholomew and Mother Maria enter the room, and Macedo gets back under the bed. And when they finally leave, Macedo escapes through the window. Meanwhile, we can see Sister Geneva making her belladonna, but instead of putting a drop on her eyes, she drinks it and she starts to cough and get dizzy. Alessandra went to Macedo's room to ask him why he lied about being deaf and dumb. But their conversation is cut when Ginevra enters the room, making Alessandra quickly hides in a corner. Intoxicated with belladonna, she gets above Macedo and starts kissing him. Suddenly, she hears Fernanda's footsteps and quickly hides in a corner where she meets Alessandra. Both are surprised to see each other. Sister Fernanda takes Macedo while Alessandra and Ginevra follow them. They arrive in the forest and the two sisters get amazed by what they are seeing. It's a gathering of several witches who are dancing around the burning fire while they see Macedo tied near it. The two immediately understand the situation, that Fernanda and Marta will sacrifice Macedo's life in a ritual. Marta is about to kill Macedo when Ginevra causes a scene where she starts fighting the witches. Marta tries to calm Ginevra, but still intoxicated with belladonna, she hits Marta with a stick, due to which she faints. Fernanda then tries to kill Macedo, but Alessandra came and stops her. During the struggle, Macedo confessed to them the truth that he is not deaf and dumb. Blooded Ginevra grabs the donkey and runs towards the church and shouts for help. The noise wakes the bishop. Ginevra tells him that Fernanda is a witch just when Fernanda, Macedo, and Alessandra arrive. Bishop calls for Mother Maria outside, but Father Tommaso comes out of her room too. Everyone was shocked and thinks that they were sleeping together. The next morning, Bishop Bartholomew punishes everyone. He orders that Father Tommaso should become a monk and sends him to another church where only men live. Macedo is handed over to his master, Lord Bruno, who puts him in prison. The three sisters are seen apologizing to each other for their misbehavior and expressing their concern about Macedo's situation. Meanwhile, Macedo serves his sentence in his jail cell when Lord Bruno visits him and informs him that he has kept his ex-wife in a cage with wild boars and dogs. He also tells him that he will keep her alive and can only get out of there if his mood gets better. Lord Bruno also warned him of the tortures he'll do to him in the coming days. After some time, a turtle is walking inside the cell with a candle burning on its back. It is actually part of the plan of the three sisters to divert the attention of the guards. As the guards follow the turtle outside the cell, the sisters get inside and give Macedo a nun's clothes to wear, so they can easily get him out. They also left a dummy in the cell to replace Macedo to fool the guards. The four then run away from there and into the forest. We can see that they are full of happiness because they succeeded in freeing Macedo. Meanwhile, Father Tommaso meets Mother Maria as she takes the donkey out of the church. The both of them are happy to see each other again. They suddenly hear footsteps coming and they hide. It turns out that it's the sisters and Macedo. After the four left, they laugh and kiss.